All right.
Some live blues from the Reverend Freakchild here on WNCW. Yeah, something told me when I first saw your name on a record and then heard your music, something told me you were well acquainted with the Reverend Gary Davis.
Yes, he's definitely a muse of mine, and try to do a couple tunes of his.
Yeah. Have you traveled around his birthplace and such? I mean,
A little bit.
We're not far right now.
It's true. Yeah, I have made a little pilgrimage there, and then he's buried up in Queens, New York.
Oh.
So this fellow Hugh Poole that we recorded the latest album Dial It In with at his studio in Brooklyn, we keep threatening to make a pilgrimage to his grave up there in Queens. So I think that's going to be the cover to the next album, I think.
Okay, yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah.
Any insights or things you learned from your travels of visiting the pilgrimage of Reverend Gary Davis? Little nuggets of wisdom.
Well, he's a mesmerizing fellow, and I have this fascination with all these blind bluesmen, blind Gary Davis and blind Willie Johnson and blind Lemon Jefferson. There's just something about those guys. But with Gary Davis, he was a secular guy and then became a preacher later in life, and real influence on a ton of people. Everything. Taught Blind Boy Fuller and influence on the Grateful Dead, even just the whole spectrum. From blues, folk, whatever, and bluegrass. And those gospel spirituals that he do is just, there's just something about him. 12 Gates, the City, all those kinds of things. And I do as a closer in my live show. I do It's Gonna Be All Right, and it's a nice way to. It's just such a great vibe, his stuff. Even though he did some blues tunes, and apparently he was quite a. When his wife wasn't around, he's off camera. He was quite a foul mouth, telling some dirty stories. But none of that's on record. But that was just the lore, anyway. So.
Yeah, we don't know those stories.
Right, exactly. Let's not talk about
that. Cool, Reverend Gary Davis, and we're the Reverend Freakchild here, and sir, you're living in Colorado now.
I am, yeah.
But boy, your history, raised in Hawaii.
Yes,
that sounds
my parents moved out there. My dad was a military guy, so we were out there. And yeah, it was wild. I went to school barefoot, and I went to a little Episcopal school, and it was beautiful out there. Raised in paradise. And then when I was about 9, my dad got a job back in New York, and we moved to Connecticut, and it was weird. It got cold, and there was this white stuff falling from the sky. I was like, what is going on here, man?
Volcanic ash?
No. But it was pretty intense back there. We always knew that Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, could blow, or they're always producing lava. You could go over there and see it. But now this latest thing. The danger, I think, really is that, it's so slow-moving lava out there. It's really the gases that are released when all that stuff starts pushing out, and that can be really dangerous, too. But anyway,
Yeah,
we're on a living planet here, man. It just keeps growing and moving and changing.
Yeah, and at some point we're live, by the way. I should mention we're live, Facebook Live going on right now. If you want to try that out, you can catch video as well as hearing the top quality audio here at WNCW through the 88.7 or maybe your web streaming. Hello to you. So Reverend Freakchild, somewhere along the line, you went down the spiritual and religious path.
Yeah.
And you got philosophy and religion degrees from Northeastern in Boston.
I did. I got a degree. I like to say I got a BS and BS from Northeastern.
Yeah.
These are the jokes, people. That's a joke. That's a pretty good joke, right? BS. Anyway.
Sounds like you've been listening to the Reverend Gary Davis during those times the wife wasn't around.
Yeah, I got a BS and BS at Northeastern in Boston, and actually, after being many years of a full-blown drug addict, and then I got sober and got to work at the Ronald McDonald House and helped some cancer kids and their families in New York, and then had a midlife crisis and went to India, and I just couldn't go back to doing anything other than studying Buddhism. So now I dropped everything, and I moved out to Boulder, Colorado, and I'm studying Tibetan Buddhism at a little university called Naropa, named after 11th century Mahasiddha. It's actually the only Buddhist university in the United States. Excuse me. And I'm working on my Master of Divinity. I'm going to legitimize the Reverend Freakchild here for real. So.
All right.
Yeah.
That's great.
We'll see.
Good. So Buddhism, spirituality, and the blues.
Yeah.
They meet with this man here, Reverend Freakchild, live on WNCW. Let's hear another tune.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's I wrote an essay called Buddha and the Blues, and it's all about, sort of these old bluesmen, just singing the truth of suffering. There's so much wisdom in the blues and spirituals, And there's a lot of wisdom in Buddhism, too. You know, that not that life is suffering, but there is suffering. And when you sing about it, you become aware of it, you know. It's the bearer of awareness. And then you start to make it a little bit better, you know, just by howling at the moon. But anyway, we'll do another blind bluesman here. This is a blind Lemon Jefferson tune, and maybe we'll sing it out to the late, great blind Reverend Gary Davis. This is a, you know, song for the ancestors. You know, a lot of mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers did a lot of work to get us to this present moment, you know. And the other day I was sitting in meditation and I thought, wow, I'm human, and I come from 2 people. So I got 2 parents, and then I have 4 grandparents, and then I have 8 great-grandparents. I got 16 great-great-grandparents. I got 32 great-great-great-grandparents, and then I thought, wait, I think I have 32 teeth in my mouth. You know, it's just the mind just keeps rolling. Actually, I got 28. They took my wisdom teeth out, so I'll never be quite wise, but hopefully there's a little wisdom in this tune. This is old Blind Willie Johnson song, and this is Blind Lemon Jefferson.